What is up, boxing brothers and sisters? So this is just a quick reaction to that Katie Taylor, Chantelle Cameron 2 fight, or I should say correctly, Chantelle Cameron versus Katie Taylor 2, because the champ was in the building and that was the undisputed 140-pound champ, Chantelle Cameron. But we're gonna get into this because what did we witness? What did we truly witness? Was it greatness? Was it truly greatness that we saw? I think it was more will than skill when we're watching this fight. And I tell you what, Chantelle Cameron, it seemed like her game plan was to pressure to wear Katie Taylor out and punish her as she did it. And Katie Taylor met that challenge right away. Reversing, let's talk about round one. That was a knockdown. The referee screwed that up. That was a knockdown. And he warned Chantelle Cameron many times about hitting behind the head, and she did. But he never warned Katie Taylor for holding repeatedly, and she was thoroughly gassed. I mean, I would say from round 7 on, she was gassed. She was gassed, and he was allowing her to bail herself out with the holding. And I'm not saying I know there's holding in boxing, but there's also excessive holding. And if a referee can put that pressure on a fighter to stop holding, that gives the other fighter that's actually in shape or better condition the advantage they should have. But the ref never afforded Chantelle Cameron that advantage because of the way that he was calling the fight. And when I say calling the fight, not warning Katie Taylor at all. So I had scored this fight a draw. I had it 95-95. I think Chantelle Cameron should still be going home with her belts. I had her winning rounds 1, 2, 6, 8, and 10. So I don't know what you guys thought about it. You can let me know if you like, but I feel like it still was a draw in the end. But what I like from Katie Taylor, right from the jump, she was not going to just let Chantelle Cameron bully her. And then she just kept doing, she's got really fast hands. Katie Taylor's got the fastest hands. And she used that to her advantage. And I'm not gonna say that the crowd swayed the judges, but I think the crowd swayed that dang 98-92. I think that's what that card was, 98-92 in favor of Katie Taylor. Come on, man. How? No, never. In no world was that a 98-92 Katie Taylor fight, in my opinion. You know, but then you're talking about somebody that scored at a draw. So I wonder, the game plan was pretty clear from Katie Taylor and Chantelle Cameron. And I like what she did wear him out. She did wear Katie Taylor out. That's exactly what she was trying to do. She did wear Katie Taylor out. But from that point on, I don't think Chantelle Cameron was that effective. I didn't think either fighter was that effective, but I think part of the reason was the referee let Katie Taylor get those flurries off, and she wasn't landing, y'all. Come on now. Katie Taylor was, she got Cameron with some great shots. She did, and so did Cameron, got her with some pretty good shots. And I really, if Cameron would have attacked the body of Taylor more, I would have liked to see a more consistent body attack. I think that would have helped her in the end, because she lifted her up in one of those shots. I couldn't say it was a bad camera angle, but I couldn't remember what round it was. She lifted her up with one of those shots, but I would have liked to see Cameron focus on that, but she didn't. She didn't. And so I think, I'm not gonna say that that was the overall reason why she didn't win the fight. I felt like Katie Taylor was the busier fighter. She was just throwing more punches. And the crowd was, every punch Katie Taylor threw, you would think she threw a haymaker. It was like a haymaker, but that's expected in a hometown crowd like that. I mean, it was a great environment, but I expect the officials involved, the judges, the referees, to be professional enough to not be affected by that. But in the end, I thought it was a tremendous spectacle, a tremendous fight as far as entertainment value. I was thoroughly entertained throughout the fight. The excessive holding from Katie Taylor, it didn't detract from my entertainment, but it did bother me a little when the ref did nothing to dissuade her from doing it. And he should have, in my opinion. But in the end, Katie Taylor got the decision. Undisputed 140, 2-time undisputed champ. That's impressive. No matter how you look at it, she's a legend. She is a legend. And long may she reign. She's not going to reign at 140 very long. I think she'll go to 135. And I want to see a rematch. But I tell you one thing, I don't want to see that dang rematch in Ireland. Move that mess somewhere else. And I know they're talking about Croke Park. I'm like, my gosh, how is Cameron ever going to get a fair shake? Can we get professionals over there? Professionals that are not going to be swayed by the crowd. Because it's going to be even more difficult. You know what I would like to see? They said, oh, we wouldn't get that fight with 12-3. But I think Cameron's conditioned enough to put that pressure on Katie for 12-3. And if that fight can somehow be 12-3 at Croke Park, you want to talk about taking it up another notch? That would take that trilogy up another notch. It's like, okay, we had 10-2 the first 2 fights. This third one's going to be 12-3. And if anybody picked Katie Taylor to win a 12-3, against Chantelle Cameron, I think you're nuts. I'm telling you right now, I think you're crazy. You are crazy because we see how Katie Taylor is worn down after 7 rounds in a 2-minute round fight. How will she be after, let's say, 6 rounds, 5 rounds of a 3-minute fight? Because now we're talking about 15 minutes, and she's already worn down after 14 minutes in a 2-minute round fight. So, woo-wee. I would love for that to be the case. I would love to have 12-by-3, but they put on a great show. I just want to say thank you to Chantelle Cameron and Katie Taylor. They put on a great show. I was thoroughly entertained. My wife was thoroughly entertained. We enjoyed it, and I definitely want a third. So, and they deserve all the money that they get, especially if they have a third fight. Pay them, give them no pay-per-view. I'm not saying pay-per-view, but they definitely deserve it, unless they make some kind of huge card. But world titles up and down that mother. Then you could do pay-per-view. And you're talking about a stadium, it would be huge. It would be huge. You know, I want to say another sub note about that card was I thought Paddy Donovan, the welterweight, man, he looked good. He looked good. He looked like somebody we need to keep our eyes on, y'all. So let's keep an eye on Paddy Donovan. He might be doing some things down the road, you know, so keep an eye on him. Forget Sky Nicolson talking about Amanda Serrano. Look, I'm not going to say Amanda Serrano would just run through like a truck or a train over Sky Nicolson, because I don't think she would. But I'm going to tell you this. I don't want to see that fight right now. I mean, because number one, I know what's going to happen. I think we all know what's going to happen. Sky Nicolson on the back foot constantly, pot-shotting, hooking, and getting out of dodge, throwing the occasional looping left hook. You know, maybe she'll stab with the jab. She does have variety, but it's just going to be outside. It's going to be Amanda Serrano chasing Sky Nicolson all night. I don't know if I want to see that, man. We talk about fights we want to see, and Sky Nicholson's popularity is skyrocketing, but that's not a fight I'm interested in right now. If it happened, I'm watching, I'm dialed in, I'm tuned in, I'm fired up, and I'm watching it, but it's not necessarily one I'm screaming for right now. I think Sky Nicolson could use a few more fights under her belt. Even though she had a good victory against Lucy Wildheart, you know, I still would like to see a little more from her, and hopefully she can, a little more diversity in her game. You know what I'm saying? I know what I saw tonight, I already knew Sky Nicolson could do that. We've seen her do that numerous times. But can she do that against an elite pressure fighter? And that's why Amanda Serrano's talking about 12-by-3. Can she do it over 12 rounds, 3-minute rounds? Amanda Serrano's done it over 12 rounds, 3-minute rounds against Sky Nicolson. What we do know is the WBC, Sky Nicholson's the WBC interim titleist. So we're not going to see 3-minute rounds if they fight. Or will we? So, but either way, that's my take on the card. I appreciate y'all tuning into this one. Plenty of videos you guys could click on. I appreciate you boxing brothers and sisters clicking on this one. But that's all I have for this one. Till the next one. Peace.